Today on Singles Court, Carol has beached their relationship, but Bob would give the shirt off his back to win her back.
If she would have told me earlier on that, you know what, you can't dress.
Okay, but now you know.
Whatever, but she didn't tell me anything.
Okay, but now you know.
He's just not her style.
If I wanted to dress somebody up, I would buy a doll.
And David's quite the teacher, and Ai-Lin's been getting some extra attention after class.
We would see each other, and I was waiting for him to ask me out, but finally he did.
Petty flirting going on.
But now she has a question he can't answer.
I want to know if you're serious.
Well, I'm very serious. I just wish that you come.
Hi, I'm Michael Day. Welcome to Singles Court on the Singles Broadcast Network, the place where singles go to find help with their relationship problems. And here's the lady who listens to them and then tells it like it is, nationally syndicated relationship expert Angela Segal.
Hi, Michael.
How are you today?
I am bumping and grinding.
Ooh.
Not in a bad way.
The good way.
The good way.
The good B&G. Okay, in the studio today we have a couple of singles. Their names are Bob and Carol. Bob is a lifeguard in the summer and a construction worker the rest of the year, and Carol is a waitress and now a student. And despite their busy schedules, they found time to build a relationship. However, it has all gone awry since then. So I call this the case of Love's a Beach.
Well, Carol, it sounds like things sort of got washed up on you, huh?
They did. We had a great summer together. We had fun, but the fall's here now, and my priorities are school, and that's just it. I just don't have time to frolic around on the beach anymore.
What are you talking about?
So, was it only a beach relationship then?
Well, I worked at the local bar, and he was a lifeguard, so it was just mainly in the summertime. I mean, I called him for a coffee, but I just realized once I got to class, I just couldn't handle it all.
You know what? I don't understand this.
Well, tell me, okay, you tell me how you saw the relationship, because it sounds like you're the one that's most upset about it.
Well, yeah, because first of all, when I met her, right, she was a waitress at the Sunset Grill along the lake, and I was a lifeguard there. And I thought we hit it off really well. And we spent a lot of time together. I mean, we've seen the sun go down many times. We've done everything you can in the summertime to enjoy the summer. I mean, we've rollerbladed, swimming, everything. And, she calls me up out of the blue, tells me she wants to see me, so I'm happy. I go see her at her fancy school, and next thing you know, she's dumping me for I don't know what reason. I think there's another guy involved.
No, there's not.
Yeah,
we had
right,
a great
whatever.
everything he says is right. We had a great time, but now I'm bombarded with like a part-time job. I have to pay my tuition. I have to attend class.
So you're saying you're busy? That's what you're saying, the reason?
I'm busy. I'm really, really bogged
You're too
down.
busy for a relationship.
I just don't have time. I just don't have time
know what?
right
Well,
now.
why can't you respect that, Bob? Sometimes people are busy. She's in school.
I respect a lot of things. I also work too as a construction worker, right? So I respect her time. I don't mind you work. I love the fact that she's going to school and doing her studies. I'm just asking to hang out with her still. Like, we were hanging out every day. I'm not asking for every day. I'm just asking for maybe one day a week, and that's it. And all of a sudden, you're telling me, well, I don't have time. What's going on, man?
How can you see what he's saying, though? I mean, how can you go from every day to all of a sudden, just because school started, I don't have time at all?
It's because I'm a construction worker. I mean, you don't like the fact that
I don't judge people by what they do for a living or how much money they make. I'm a poor student. I'm like struggling to make ends meet myself. I don't care what you do. Don't try and pin that on me.
I mean, why do you think he feels like you care what he does for a living?
Pardon?
Why do you think he feels like you care what he does for a living? I mean, he feels put down, I guess.
Well,
but I think she's seeing you know what? You're seeing somebody else. Why don't you just tell me?
Well, which is it? I mean, which is it? Do you think she's seeing somebody else, or do you think she's putting you down?
No, I think she's seeing somebody else, because I mean, what put me down?
Okay, so
we've had so much fun together, okay? And all of a sudden, she tells me she doesn't want to see me. I don't understand. I can read vibes, okay, really well, and you gave me all the great.
You're reading the wrong one. I am not seeing somebody else. I'm just, my priorities have changed.
Why do you think, Bob, that in order for her to not want you, she must have somebody else? Here's a newsflash. Maybe she doesn't want you even without having somebody else.
You know what? If it's just a fling or something like that, I can understand. But you know what?
What are you not listening to?
What?
Why do you feel like the only way she can not have you is if she has somebody else? She said she doesn't.
Because I don't understand. We were having a great time. You know what? We spent so much time together, and all of a sudden we have a coffee, and she's telling me she can't see me anymore.
Maybe you spent too much time
We can't
together.
even talk to each other. We can't call each other once in a while.
She doesn't want to see you. So
Why?
Let's find out why. Besides the fact that you're working too hard, which really what she's saying is, I'd rather do these things than see you. Go to school, get my life together, do the career. Okay, so
tell
that
me
the
that.
writing's on the wall. Okay, that's what she's saying. So tell us in, I guess, another way why you just don't want to be bothered with him. Because apparently you guys were getting it on heavy for 3 months.
I mean, we had a great time. You don't understand.
No, I understand.
Oh,
Trust
well.
me. Look what I do for a living. I understand.
Well, the whole reason that it's fueling me for this breakup is he is a brutal dresser. Okay, I know that's coming out of.
What are you talking about?
When he came to pick me up for coffee, to take me out for coffee
are
with
you
my
talking
girlfriends,
about?
he
There's another
shows
guy. I know
up
there's
in.
another guy.
Don't give me
There's
that.
another
It's
guy.
not that. He
That's
shows
a better
up,
answer than this. Go ahead.
He shows up in this cheesy pair of jeans that I swear could have had an elastic waist with a tiny thin belt from the 80s, and he just shows up, and here I am, and I want to
You know what?
introduce this as my boyfriend, and
let me make sure I understand you correctly. What you're saying to me is because of what he put on his naked body, which would be clothes.
Yeah, she didn't mind it when I didn't have any clothes on, but now that she minds that I'm wearing something, she's getting all little.
well, in the summer you were wearing
whatever.
shorts and a t-shirt. You
Yeah,
can't really
so you
go
loved
wrong
it
with
then,
that.
So what's wrong now?
Well, it's
Big
over.
deal.
It's the fall.
If you don't
I
like what
introduced you to
wear,
my
why don't
friends.
you buy me something
This is a
then?
new school year. I want to introduce my friends and say, guys,
You know
this
what?
is Bob.
Because you know what? I have to tell you, that is just the most ridiculous thing.
Well,
I really want to make sure I understand you correctly, because maybe you need to date an infant, because they just wear diapers.
It's not about that.
Well, then
I'm
what is
studying
it?
fashion. I take pride in what I wear, and I wanted to introduce
with
my.
what
Look what
I'm
he's
wearing?
wearing.
There's
like,
nothing wrong
Angela,
with what
what's
I'm
yours?
wearing.
Okay, in her defense, Angela, you look like you're
Thank
dressed
you.
to go see a monster truck
Like we're coming
rally.
here for advice. Like his shirt's pilling. I mean, his hat's on backwards. You don't even wear a hat in a
You know
restaurant.
what?
Never mind,
I
come
can
here
work
for
with it.
your
You know what?
advice and wear
I
that.
can
That's
work with you
disrespect. And I feel like
if she
you know,
would have told
I'm
me, if she would have
studying-
told me earlier on that, you know what, you can't dress worth of whatever, you know, I would have helped.
Okay,
I
but
would
now
have
you
bought
know.
whatever, but she
Now
didn't
you
tell
know.
me anything.
Okay, but now you know. So now you know.
But there's nothing wrong with what I'm wearing. It's not that. You don't understand. It's not that.
Please,
I mean,
when he
obviously
shows up with
something
my
happened.
friends, my
I think
family,
she
I'm
met
trying to
somebody else. I'm
introduce
telling you,
him,
she
and
met
he shows
somebody
up
else.
like a total
Stop it
ruffian.
with the somebody else. Unless she met Mr. Blackwell, the fashion advisor, she didn't meet anybody else.
telling you,
She
she met-
doesn't like your clothes.
Get over it. That's not the reason.
But I will say
Whatever.
this: the fact that you don't like his clothes, can he wear something different? I mean, why are the clothes such a central part of the relationship?
Well, because this is artistic expression for me. Like
That's for you.
Yeah, but I don't want to change him. If he's happy wearing that, that's fine. But there's a clash here happening, and I'd rather just save the heartaches. We obviously don't agree in that. If we didn't agree in music or religion or politics or whatever, there's a clash happening. Let's just be mature and turn the other
Let me
cheek.
make sure I understand you correctly. If you wear straight legs and he wears bell bottoms, that's not a good match, and that you should break up.
Well, this is really an
You know what, we were
extreme,
having
Angela.
such,
Like,
I don't
come on.
understand. If
Like,
the
I
vibe
can't-
was up here, you know what I mean? If we were having a great time, why can't you work together at it? Like, I mean, you just.
I mean, he's got a point.
I don't want to dress somebody up. Like, I don't
It's
want to.
not-
If I wanted to dress somebody up, I would buy a doll. Like, this is your
why
individuality.
are you
That's
comparing
great.
me to a
like,
doll or something? What are you
it's
talking
an,
about?
I'm just trying to make a point.
But maybe you're putting too much emphasis on the clothes, because let's go back to 3 months. The 3 months during the summer when you had no problem with his body in
Yeah, did you like
a
it?
Speedo.
Did you like my
You had
body?
no problem
I had-
with walking
Yeah,
around
you
here
had
in
no
a t-shirt and
problems. You had no
shorts on.
I
problems.
had
my
no
body,
idea
so
he was
what
a
the-
poor dresser. He was wearing
What
Bermuda shorts.
Always?
Yeah. Well,
Not
in the
always.
summer.
Not always.
Well, you know what?
That or nude.
You had no idea what he was wearing. He had no idea that you weren't wearing anything between your brain. I heard what you had to say. I'll be back with what I have to say. Well, you know, they say you are what you wear. And in this case, Carol, you're a sharp dresser. I may even go as far as to say you're a savvy dresser. But what concerns me about you is when it comes to relationships, if you base your relationship solely on what the other person's wearing, then even though you have good taste on the outside, you have really bad taste when it comes to relationships. On the other hand, Bob, you know, you seem to be very happy with who you are. You seem to be someone who is honest and forthright with who you are and the type of clothes you liked and the way you like to look. And I will tell you that You don't owe that to Carol to change the way you dress to save the relationship. That would be a recipe for disaster because eventually the real Bob is going to come out anyway. You know, in relationships, the outer layer is important, but when it matters more than the inner layer, what happens is that you nurture the outer layer and never develop or nurture the inner layer. And in your case, that's exactly what you're on the road to doing. Fortunately, you're young, so hopefully you'll change and realize that that's not a very good way to lead a relationship or even your own life. I will tell you, Bob, that you need to really realize that whichever relationship you decide to be in life, let it be someone who loves you for who you are. We make adjustments and changes, minor adjustments and changes, but what we're wearing shouldn't be a major part of a relationship. And I'll tell you that when both of you move on to other relationships, what you need to realize is the best relationship is when you find someone who will only want to dress you up with one thing, and that's love.
Next on Singles Court. David's quite the teacher, and Ai-Lin's been getting some extra attention after class.
We would see each other, and I was waiting for him to ask me out, but finally he did.
Flirting going on.
But now she has a question he can't answer.
I want to know if you're serious.
Well, I'm very serious.
And Singles Court is back with nationally syndicated relationship expert Angela Segal.
Well, I tell you, these singles get steamy, steamy, steamy.
I know when it collects up in the studio, we need some big fans or something.
We do. I'm going to put a mask on my face and just bask.
Okay, well, we can't do that right now because we have two more singles in the studio, and they need your help. Please say hello to David, who is an English language teacher, and Ai-Lin, who was a student of David's recently, but has since moved on, and now they are working on a relationship together. However, there's been a bit of a hitch because an ultimatum has been declared. I'll let them explain it, but I call it the case of school bells or wedding bells.
Ai-Lin, a relationship with your teacher.
Yes, I was learning English from David's school. I immigrated from Hong Kong 2 years ago, but I wasn't in David's class for very long because it was too easy, so I graduated and went to another class. And we would see each other, and I was waiting for him to ask me out, but finally he did.
There was a lot of petty flirting going on. She'd pretend like she wasn't looking at me, and then I finally mustered up enough strength to ask her, and we went to go see a Jackie Chan movie. And I love Jackie Chan movies. I didn't know how much she was going to love Jackie Chan movies, but
I like Jackie Chan.
she was on about his birthday and about how
Well, let me ask you a question that may not seem very obvious to you, but I'm going to ask. At any point, did you think about the fact, well, I'm a teacher, she's a student, that faculty thing,
I've been teaching English as a second language since I graduated college.
Okay.
And my specialty is with Chinese students because my brother and I taught in Taiwan and China for a year.
Okay, but
it's
you
something
didn't answer
I
my
take.
question.
Well, I'm going to answer your question.
When the credits start
right
rolling?
now. No, I take a lot of pride in what I do. I'm very good at what I do. And it goes beyond just teaching the students the language. They put a lot of faith and trust in you to help assimilate them into the society. So it's not like I was.
But my question was, do you see any issue with the fact that you're a teacher and she's a student?
No, because she was out of my class in about a month.
It was very short.
Yeah,
Okay.
she learned very quickly, and she was taking initiative, helping a lot of the other students.
Okay.
So.
Okay, so then you all passed the flirting thing, saw the Jackie Chan movie,
and then for the past 6 months, I've been, the happiest I've been in months. And then 2 weeks ago, I noticed she, was acting very distant and reserved. And it's not like her at all. The thing that attracted me to her, it's not. Let me finish telling her the story. So I asked her, I was taking her home, I said, what's the problem? And her words to me were, I think it's time that we start settling down.
It's because he
Let's
wasn't
talk about
serious.
marriage after 6.5 months.
I told him that if he was serious about me, that he would ask me to marry him. But if he wasn't going to, I was going to break up and then move on.
And she gave me a month after 6 months.
Don't you think, I mean, that's kind of harsh. What would lead you to either or ultimatum?
Angela, American men, they like to date women for a long, long time. And then
what's that supposed to mean?
Finally, when the romance ends, then they
That's a
break
sweeping
up.
generalization.
And
I don't make generalizations
older,
about your
she's
culture.
Ugly,
this
and
is
I
not
don't
right.
want that to happen.
That's not going to happen.
I mean, he does a point. I mean, that is a sweeping generalization.
It is a
known each
sweeping
other
generalization.
But
for a
unfortunately, it
whole
doesn't
year.
come without some form of truth to
Yeah,
it, or
but
else
I'm
people
being
wouldn't have a generalization.
Yeah,
just
but I'm
date
being
for
serious. Are you
years
going to
and
let me
years, and you're
talk?
not even
I'm
gonna
being
be-
serious. I'm not dating other girls. I don't understand
So you all
why all this.
you all have a monogamous, committed relationship.
That's right.
I
And
hope
I'm
so.
just tired now of her, pulling this quiet routine. It's not like her at all. And I think it's her family's behind it. I don't mean any disrespect. I met a
I mean,
father.
why do you think her family's behind it?
Because I met her parents like 2 months ago, and I didn't
And?
think they weren't crazy about the idea that we were dating number one. And I know the culture
don't
very
even
well.
know my
But why
I
would
do.
they? But why? Okay, let me just make sure I'm understanding what you're saying. You think they're behind her wanting you to marry her, but yet they don't like you?
The Chinese culture doesn't understand prolonged dating like we
But
have.
why
here.
would they? Why would they want you to marry her if they didn't like you?
That's right. You don't even know
Yeah,
my family.
but
You
6.5
always think it's
months?
My family.
6.5 months?
That's forcing
because
you to
I
marry
understand
me.
the culture, and I know how.
So you're saying
Are you
basically that
Chinese?
her-
No.
No, but I've studied
Do
there
you
for
know
a year. I don't
my
make sweeping
culture?
generalizations about it.
But in a way you are, because you're saying basically she can't think for herself, so her family must be
She
behind.
told
That's
me
right.
that her father and mother were my age when they got married.
So?
Well,
So
maybe the Chinese calendar moves a little faster than ours does over here. I mean, I don't know.
Michael.
This is coming from me. I want to know if you're serious, not my parents.
Well, I'm very serious. I just wish that you come. I mean,
why- but
it's not like her to
Ai-Lin-
be. I just want her to tell me the truth. And I know
Ai-Lin-
it's her family behind it. I want her
You
to come
don't
to
know
me.
that. You think that.
I know
You
that.
want me to tell you-
She's never been this reserved
Why
before.
don't you tell me the truth?
Why don't you? I know it's your parents. I'm
Why
just
do
sick
you-
of playing
why
this
do you
stupid
say that?
game.
She just said that's
You know
not her
what it
parents.
is? It's my friends at school. They tell me you have this thing for Chinese girls, and that you date a lot of the Chinese students at school.
Who says this?
So see, it's
Sarah
not her
and Karen.
parents. So you don't know. You think you know it. You don't know that.
Well,
you're
hold-
wrong.
Would
Well-
you like someone to date you because you're black? No.
Well, actually, that's happened a few times.
See, and you don't like
But they're
it.
black too. That's the only
First of all, I did not go out with any other Chinese students.
They warned me about him. They said you should test
I'm glad
him.
we have enough trust in the
bring up
relationship that
the
she can come
subject
to me
of
with this.
marriage
Well, but
and
listen
see how
to-
far he runs.
Listen. Even if, let's say that your little test worked, and he said, okay, I'll marry you. What have you proven? You're marrying a man you've known 6.5 months.
Well, that he was serious about me.
About what?
I went
me
out
and
with a
him.
couple of the other students so they wouldn't lose face.
So
it was
it's
nothing
true.
personal. We went out on a couple of dates. They did well on an essay. It's like I said, I'm trying to help them assimilate into the society.
Do you have to
I'm not
date
playing
the
anybody.
girls?
Listen,
So,
that's
so
what.
your
That's
way,
all.
so your way of helping them assimilate into society is taking them out for coffee?
That's all that it was. Yes,
Then
I
why
did.
didn't
I
you
didn't.
tell
I
me?
pursued you. I didn't pursue Hiroko or Anne. I'm sorry. Like.
But what do you care what he did before he met you? I mean, granted, there's some portion of a person's past you need to know, but you certainly don't think he's 5 years old
But
and
is he
just met
still
you.
dating? Is he still going out with the students now?
Absolutely not.
He says
and I've
he's
told her
not.
that a million times. Marriage is a very special thing. It's not something you just rush into after 6.5 months.
I
I'm
agree.
sorry.
I mean,
But we were together for we knew each other for a whole year.
but
We
you
only
dated
started
for
staying
6.5
seriously
months.
for 6.5
Okay,
months.
so even by your own admission, okay, think about this. Let's think about time frame here. It takes 9 months to have a baby. For an elephant, it takes 2 years. I mean, you want him to get married in 6.5 months
But I
just
just
to
want-
prove that he's serious about you.
Right.
Well, explain that to me.
My parents divorced when I was 14 years old. I'm sorry, but I'm not about to rush into a marriage. And I've told her that.
I mean, but that doesn't mean he's not serious
But
about
he
you.
should be committed and he should want to.
But he says he is.
I am committed. I am committed. I haven't
What does
run
he
off-
have to do to? I'm trying to help you.
Mm-hmm.
What does he have to do to prove that to you besides marry you?
Well, he should have been open and honest with the other girls.
There are no other girls. All you had to do was ask me, and I would have told
Well, then
you.
why did I have to hear this from
you
the
all
other
have
students?
had your say. Next is my turn. I'm going to get a bowl of cereal. I'll be right back. You know, sometimes what appear to be barriers are really just bridges, but you do have to cross them. Personally, David, I believe that you should be leery of any student-teacher relationship. That's my personal opinion. I believe that for what you do for a living, which is teach immigrants, Chinese immigrants, how to speak English, it puts them in a position where they're dependent on you. And I think that it's possible sometimes, and I'm not saying necessarily in this case, for those students to confuse love with the fact that they're dependent on you. So that's my own personal opinion. I will say that I believe that you do love her, care a lot for her, and I think that for Ai-Lin, you have tried your best to prove that to you. And I believe you, but it doesn't really matter because she doesn't. Ai-Lin, test in relationships, here's a lesson you should learn because you're still young. Tests in relationships usually backfire. And when you give an ultimatum, there has to be an effect. You can't just say, if you don't, then I won't. And if it's a test and it doesn't hold water, then you wasted your time. You know, in relationships in general, the one thing you have to remember, that doubt is more powerful than proof. Doubt is with your heart, proof is with your eyes. You doubt it in your heart, so no matter what he says, you can't win. So I will tell you that in this situation, you have to realize that he does care about you. You got to give him a chance. You have to. Let him love you. And what you'll find out that in any language, a hurt relationship still leaves you in a lot of pain.
Well, there it is. Words of wisdom from the lady who tells it like it is, Angela Segal. Join us next time here at Singles Court, the final word for singles.